This picture of this woman, it says the family is demanding answers after the mother was killed at Mule Creek. Now, this is about a 62-year-old woman who she was married to a guy who was convicted. He was a convicted murderer, and he was accused of killing his wife during a prison visit. And so you see the headlines: woman who died while visiting incarcerated husband at the Mule Creek. I believe it's a prison. And there's so many different videos regarding the situation. So just listen to this lady. It's really sad what happened to her. So it's on a commercial right now. I'm gonna skip it. You read what you sow. God is the God of his word. You can't deny that. I want to reap benefits. So he had told me to stand. He told me to fall in love with Jesus. And then he told me to get ready for a blessing. Wow. The death of a woman at a jail in Amador County while on a visit is now being investigated as a homicide. It happened last Wednesday at Mule Creek State Prison when 62-year-old Stephanie Diane Brinson was visiting her husband. He's an inmate there. The State Department of Corrections says the inmate used the family visit phone to tell officers his wife had passed out during her visit, but the cause of her death is allegedly to have been caused by strangulation. Amador County and the state prison is now handling the investigation. Stephanie Diane was 62 years old, beautiful, energetic, athletic, and a proud mother and grandmother. By all accounts, she had lived a life full of love, success, and strength. But in the final chapter of her story, Stephanie made a decision that was not just bizarre, but... Now, I'm going to stop this video. I know you're saying, well, why are you showing this? Now, this is coming from my perspective on this situation. And it's not only the negligence of the prison and them not checking on this woman, but if you recall that in the beginning of me showing this, the woman, she looked like she's a really beautiful lady. Her heart, was really pure. She really was a good-natured woman, but notice she was doing a lot of religion and praying, and that's probably who she was. But who are you praying to? And that, I feel, is not just this woman. There's a lot of other black women whom I believe they're, the word they say, misinformation or in delusion. They're in this impression that this religion, this cult, which is really white Christian nationalist religion, that people are following, and they're assuming that it's going to benefit their black lives. We already see that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are basically trying to run this country in the ground. And they're only trying to do it for the benefit of people who look like them or are loyalist and have only their interest and their agenda at heart. And I feel people who follow this religion, this cult, this white Christian nationalist religion, which doesn't benefit black people, always get situations like this where they are praying to something and they don't even know who it is to that you're praying to. It's just like for years, black people were going to universities, the ones that were allowed to at least get in there. They would walk past these Confederate statue monuments that worship
the very people who enslaved your ancestors. And so it's the same thing. KKK had rituals. Why do you think they were burning crosses and putting it in the yards of people of color? Because they follow a religion and used religion in the Bible to justify their evil deeds. So the very God that you're praying to is not in your best interest. Let me say this. So I believe that her heart was pure, but her mind was misguided, and the religion she was following wasn't the correct type of organization or religion that she should have followed. And this is the result of some of that, but also the negligence of the prison. They should have been more vigilant about who is visiting whom and the past history of the individual that this woman was visiting. He had a history of murder. And I know people want to forgive, they want to try to do their best to see the good in everybody. And this woman, too, I'm going to say she's a black woman that has the similar issues of many other black women where she feels like she can change people because she's a good person. Let me tell you something. Some people have to realize that you cannot change a person. They have to want to change within themselves. And you can't come in with your good nature and your pure spirit and heart, which is the religion you should be following, not White Christian Nationalist Religion. You should be following your heart and the spirit that is guiding you. She had mentioned in one of her videos that something was telling her that she shouldn't do certain things and she should have followed the first voice, the voice that was telling her, you can't trust certain individuals, which is true. Everybody you can't always trust. Everybody's not always your friend. Everybody's not always following the right types of gods. So black women, this is femicide in black women culture, and I'm sure it expands to other cultures as well. Follow the right things. Let your heart guide you to the right individuals. And this woman was beautiful. She could have had anybody on the outside, but she was trying to see the good even in the face of evil. She didn't deserve any of this. And I've seen other black women fall prey to naivety, just not knowing, thinking that they can change people. Let me tell you, you can't change anybody if they don't want to be changed. So you have to pull your good intentions aside, and you have to let your heart and your mind tell you, look, is this the right choice, or am I putting myself in grave danger because I'm trying to change someone um, who refused to be rehabilitated? And so think about it. He had life in prison. He was not going to get out. And so you need to search for the right types of involvement spiritual wise, because a lot of this religion that some of these black people are following is White Christian Nationalist Religion. It's the same religion that validated enslavement. It's the same religion that KKK followed to put the crosses in your yard to burn them, and your great grandparents had to suffer at the hands of these evildoers. It's the same religion that is leading Donald Trump to hold a Bible in a photo op and claim that he's a good-natured person when he's gutting all of the programs that benefit people that look like us. It's the same people that claim that they're going to bring 67,000 white South Africans here because they're doing the flipping glass philosophy to say that black South Africans are the oppressors. They're the reason why they need to give white South Africans asylum in the U.S. And guess what? The white people here who were born here, they're going to mess up your jobs. They're going to give them your benefits. So you've been following the wrong people as well. So all of these people who are following this so-called religion, think about who it's coming from and what is leading it, because it isn't good. It isn't something to benefit anybody in your life in a good way. And the Hispanic people do the same thing. You're following people and you don't know that they're using you, they're exploiting you, and they're exploiting the immigrant people because they want to use you for all of your talents, and then they want you to work for them, and then when they get tired of you, they replace you with a new group. All this has been in play for years. And black people who are under the impression that we don't need the Department of Education, because what are they doing for us? They were oversight. So now you had poorly educated black students, it's going to become even worse. You think it isn't? You think it's bad now? Huh? They gutted everything. They are gutting different programs. And I heard last week this lady saying, oh, well, they said they weren't going to do anything to the programs with the kids that have disabilities. Don't believe everything that they say, because they're not telling you the truth. They lie. They've been so good at lying that people are so used to hearing the lie, and they believe the lies are the truth. The lies are not the truth. And so this woman, she fell victim to something and she didn't deserve it. And her family wants justice, and I hope they get it. And I hope that no other black people or women have to go through this femicide to get the realization that you cannot change anybody that doesn't want to be changed, sweetheart. So let's get into a little more of this, and then I'm going to cut this video off. But you know what? You have to really also use your mind. You can't just think that, oh, they're going to solve problems for me. It's in a commercial that they're going to just miraculously solve your problems with religion. 54-year-old David Brunson. She somehow convinced herself that a convicted quadruple murderer serving 4 life sentences plus 20 years was boyfriend material. Let's be honest, David wasn't just waving red flags, he was drowning in them. He murdered 4 men in one night back in 1994, showed zero remorse, and had no realistic chance of release. But against all logic, all reason, and all cries from her family, Stephanie didn't just fall for him, she married him. Yep, she became Mrs. Brinson, prison walls and all, as if love letters and state-issued jumpsuits were the new fairy tale. Stephanie had a slew of accomplishments, the kind most women would be proud of. She raised a family, stayed active, and built a full life. But now, none of that will make headlines, because the world won't remember her as the loving mom, the dedicated grandmother, or the vibrant woman she was. She'll be remembered as the lonely older woman killed by her prison babe during a conjugal visit. A tragic ending to a story that should have never had a second act. Welcome to the American Crime Genocide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. Stephanie, affectionately called Stevie B by family and friends, was a woman of many hats, and she wore them well. A graduate of the University of Southern California with a degree in special education, she held positions ranging from law firm office manager to dental practice manager. So, I'm just showing you a little background of the woman, so you know she is really smart, she was educated, she's very pretty, and for this to happen to her was really sad. She's smart in a lot of ways, but she was dumb to the fact that she's following a religion of what is a cult. It's white nationalist Christianity, and that I feel is like really a bad thing for black people to be following, because it doesn't suit us well. The other thing that I think is really sad is the fact that this woman, that tells you what times we're living in, that she couldn't find any decent men out in the world. She had to go to the prison, and she got one of the worst ones, thinking she could change and rehabilitate him. And I feel like some of that is because she knows he's not going to get out. He's not going to go cheat on her with any woman. He's locked up. So she has him on lock and stock. So here's the thing. He had a history of being a murderer. And so for you to pick somebody like this, look how it rewarded you in a worse way. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe she was thinking that at least he won't run off, but you don't know what those men do in prison too. You gotta look at that. And from people that I've known that have gone there, said they don't give them condoms. So sometimes they try to control other guys by raping them, and you might be sleeping with that. And so I don't know why she didn't think about all of these things. And then too, the prison was very negligent in allowing her. And he had, even what I'm hearing, he wasn't even there that long at that prison, and he had this history. So that he was, I guess, maybe moved there. So there's different stories out, different videos, but none of them points anything good about the man that she married. And so I've seen other black women who settle and they marry guys who have a checkered past or worse. And they figure, well, you can't get anything better than this. But now she's unalived because of that thinking, that mindset. And we have other women that do that. And I think some of it has to do with codependency. Women feeling like if they're by themselves, they're not complete. They have to have some kind of mate. Well, you're going to get some kind of mate, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good mates. So you got to really use your brain, not just your heart alone. And so she probably had really great intentions. She's pure in spirit and heart, but you got to follow your own pure spirit and heart, sweetheart. Do not follow this cult religion, this white Christian nationalist religion, which I feel like so vehemently black people will tout it. This is the same, like again, I'm going to say the same religion that has enslaved your ancestors, and they used the Bible to validate it. They twist all the words. They made it look like black people didn't even exist in the Bible at one point. I remember this from growing up. I lived around a lot of white people, so I know how some of those people that are like Trump and like Elon think. Now he wants to deport all of the Hispanic community of people who voted for him, who he exploited and used them and lied to them and betrayed them. Yes, he did betray you guys. And now guess who he's trying to bring over here? Elon's people. People that are white South Africans, 67,000 or more of those people. And yes, they are very racist because they're using that flipping glass philosophy. They're trying to say that black South African people discriminated them, and they're going to use that same attitude and bring that racism over here and discriminate the black Americans that are here. He's trying to still get rid of birthright citizenship, not just for the Hispanic community, but for everybody that's here. So whoever voted for him and all those people, they're getting their F around and find out. But also, the black community. We had some people that voted for Trump. They voted for his interests. They were thinking it was going to just hit a select group. You're going to maybe not all of us are going to get deported, but living here is going to be hell. Because we're from the generation of people who we benefited from the rewards of the civil rights movements. And having all of that stripped away, you're going to see what it feels like to not have those protections. And in schooling, I heard a lady, like I said, she was saying, oh, what do we need the Department of Education for? Oversight. So a lot of the discrimination, like worrying about poor test scores now, kids might not have good books. The schools might not be even good anymore. They're going to be a lot worse than whatever they already are. The states that control it are going to only give resources to the people who are wealthy, who don't even need those resources. So people who don't read and they're naive and they just trust everybody, you're going to see what it feels like to not really think clear and have people walk all over you because you don't really pay attention to what is going on, and you have this attitude that this God that you're seeking, which ain't in your best interest, is going to save you. Look what happened to this woman here. In the beginning of her video, you see her pouring her heart out to this God. And I'm really going to tell you, I have a problem with it because it has not worked for any of us. It's not helping us. It's not benefiting us. It's not in our best interest. It's not the right type of God. There's a lot of gods of evil, and this God is evil. Anytime you got people that are more homeless, they're jobless, they're on the street, they don't have nothing to eat. Now you got these people in power that are just trying to strip everybody's rights. That's not a God I want to follow. That if he's supposed to be doing all these great things, then why are so many more and more people suffering? You're following the wrong religion. And so that's what I'm saying. So anyway, it's sad that this happened to this woman. I hope her family and them seek the justice and get the justice that they deserve for her, because she didn't deserve any of this. I really do believe in her heart she had a good spirit, but the thing she was following wasn't good, and her ideas of changing somebody who doesn't want to be rehabilitated or is not going to be rehabilitated, this was bad. All of it. And then think about it too. I noticed that when it's somebody that's a black woman that's experiencing domestic violence and femicide, it happens a lot more often, and it goes unsolved or under the radar for quite some time before they figure out where it's coming from. So Black women, y'all need to be smarter about what kinds of religions you're following and who is under and who you're in relationships with. Because if these men are not going to do right by you, then you might do right by yourself until that person comes your way that is just like you and is meant to be with you. Don't be running to these people who they will unalive you and don't feel no remorse behind doing it.